Titanic, which was considered unsinkable and one of the largest passenger ships of its time, sank in the icy cold waters of the Atlantic Ocean after hitting an iceberg during its maiden voyage in April 1912. Even after more than a century, the wreck of the Titanic continues to attract attention and symbolizes a significant moment in history, showcasing the human pursuit of progress, the tragedy of its loss, and the ongoing efforts to remember and understand the event and its aftermath. Interest in the Titanic peaked again after Titan, a deep-sea submersible on its way to the Titanic wreckage site on June 18, vanished. The sub was carrying 4 people, who wanted to have a first-hand view of the much-talked-about wreck located 12,500 feet, 3,800 meters, below the sea level, and the pilot. After 4 days of frantic search, OceanGate Expeditions, the company which operated the submersible, announced that the missing sub had imploded and its debris had been found near the remains of the Titanic. The 5 occupants are presumed dead. Even before the official announcement about the Titan was made, rumors and speculations began to fly that the submersible had succumbed to the curse of the Titanic. But what is this curse all about? Though such beliefs have no place in the age of science and reason, nonetheless, they are interesting to read about. It is believed that the Titanic and its passengers were cursed due to a series of unfortunate events that occurred before and after its sinking, according to media reports. The so-called curse is believed to have caused misfortune, tragedy, and death to people and families associated with the gigantic ship. However, these claims surrounding the curse of the Titanic and its connection to human tragedies are largely based on speculations and based on historical insinuations. As the Titan submersible met its end during its underwater voyage to the Titanic wreck, let us now list out some so-called curses that were believed to be associated with the humongous vessel from the time it was built to its sinking. Even before the Titanic was put on water and sailed from Southampton to New York, the curse is said to have started with accidents and deaths during the construction of the ship. It is estimated that at least 8 workers died during Titanic's construction in Belfast, specifically at the Harland and Wolff shipyard, Marca reported. Various rumors circulated at that time when a crew member was believed to have fallen to his death during the construction. However, it should be kept in mind that during those times, safety rules during construction were followed sparingly and workers did not wear protective gear, and fatalities were common. While the Titanic was a spectacular feat of shipbuilding, it was also believed to be a symbol of bad omen. A ship, SS City of New York, narrowly avoided a collision with the Titanic at the start of her maiden voyage in 1912. The SS City of New York, being much smaller than the Titanic, was sucked into her wake as the Titanic's giant triple-screw propellers rotated. The New York's mooring snapped, and she was dragged towards the port side of the Titanic. Captain Edward Smith, Titanic's captain, ordered the engines to go full speed ahead, thereby preventing the collision. The near collision at Southampton fueled rumors among people that such an incident did not bode well for a ship beginning its maiden voyage and indicated that it could be a sign of impending danger ahead. Eventually, the ship hit an iceberg on the night of April 14, 1912, and sank in the icy cold waters of the Atlantic Ocean, claiming over 1,500 lives. The curse is believed to have affected some passengers who were associated with the Titanic. For instance, it is said that J.P. Morgan, Titanic's powerful owner and British banking magnate, was supposed to be aboard the ship. But he cancelled his voyage at the last moment. Similarly, Milton S. Hershey, the founder of Hershey's Chocolate, cancelled his plans to travel on the Titanic due to business engagements. Was an Egyptian mummy on board the Titanic, and did its curse work on it? British editor William Stead, a first-class passenger on the ill-fated ship, had narrated stories about his work related to Egyptian curses to his fellow passengers on board. For many years, he had been writing about Native American burial grounds, and claimed that a mummy was causing destruction in London, according to the Mirror. Stead's narration of the so-called Egyptian mummy led to some people claiming that the curse had followed him, while others argued it was present on the ship and could be the reason behind its sinking. The so-called mummy curse had even made it to the Washington Post, which ran a headline, "Ghost of the Titanic, Vengeance of Hoodoo Mummy Followed Man Who Wrote Its History." However, the unlucky mummy is kept at the British Museum, History Channel reported. Interestingly, it is not even connected to the Titanic. It has no name, just the number 22542. And more importantly, the artifact was not a mummy at all, but the lid of an inner coffin. To substantiate this fact, Carol Andrews, an expert in Egyptology, wrote in Egyptian Mummies that the coffin lid was supposed to be aboard the Titanic, but it hasn't left the British Museum since it was delivered there in 1889. So, that means that the hoodoo around the so-called mummy was just speculation. It never boarded the Titanic at all. Cut to 2023 and it's déjà vu all over again. The Titan submersible, which carried 5 people, including the CEO of OceanGate, are said to be the latest victims of the Titanic's curse. The deep-sea submersible, whose debris was found near the bow of Titanic on the seafloor, met its tragic end just like its behemoth sibling. No wonder James Cameron, the director of the 1997 Hollywood movie Titanic, said he was astonished by the manner of how the ship and the submersible had similarities to their doom. Either way, it is tragic and catastrophic. The notion of such a curse arose due to the dramatic nature of the Titanic's sinking and the subsequent tragedies that affected some individuals connected to the ship. Nonetheless, many people find the stories surrounding the curse intriguing, adding to the lore and mystique of the ship's history.